Nas Daily was one of the biggest content creators on the internet with 13.9 million subscribers to this day. But out of that 13.9 million subs, less than 100,000 still watch his content. In this video, we'll be getting to know Nas Daily and a slow-motion car crash of a career, piecing together all the clues to answer the big question: what happened to Nas Daily? And make sure to stick around till the end to find out what the final nail in the coffin was. Beginning. Nusayr Yassin, better known as Nas Daily, was born to a Muslim family of Palestinian descent. A promising and smart young man, Nusayr got into Harvard at the ripe age of 19 for a degree in aerospace engineering, a degree that found the most use when he launched a burger into space.
But why?
Before the 13.9 million subscribers, before the 30 million view videos, Nas was just a young man doing content because it was fun. This was obvious in his first ever YouTube video in 2012, entitled Operation Skyfall, First Hamburger in Space. The video was just dumb fun, showing Nas and his friends sending a burger 30,000 meters into space, capturing the entire ascent in real time, like some heavenly Uber Eats delivery. The video was a massive success, gaining traction quicker than he had ever imagined, big enough to make him think that there was something more for him on the web. So after a brief 4-year break, he returned to YouTube with a clearer and more content-focused goal. He expanded his reach from YouTube, posting more short-form videos on Facebook instead. Each short video would bring to light an obscure but interesting fact from around the world, all compressed into 1 minute-long video every day. This was the namesake for Nas Daily, and he would post these videos for more than 1,000 days straight. Consistency was key to his success, but the algorithm slobbering all over you was also pretty nice.
It should have been me, not him!
Nas's follower count grew from 1 million to 12 million on Facebook alone, but things were getting stale and exhausting. This concept wasn't working for him anymore, so he took his newfound audience and went back to YouTube, where he'd upload longer and more thought-out videos on a weekly basis. Thankfully for him, the YouTube algorithm loved exactly what Nas was spewing out, and each video was entertaining and informative enough to hook you to your seat. More videos, more views, more subscribers, more money. Things were going great for Nas until controversy struck. Each video was gaining millions of views, and his subscriber count was showing this growth as well. This was a far cry from his viewer count today, which is often the case for content creators getting cancelled. But unlike other creators like Dr. Disrespect or even Ricegum, this wasn't a death by a single huge blow. This was a death of 1,000 cuts. Culture vulture. Nowadays, Nas has a hard time breaking even the 100k view mark on YouTube, and this didn't happen overnight. Most content creators on the platform like Ricegum or even Dr. Disrespect was buried overnight, but Nas was different. Nas was a death by 1,000 cuts. One of the focal points of Nas's videos was an exploration of cultures from around the world. One such cultural figure was Apo Wang-od, a 103-year-old Mambabatok or tattoo artist from the Philippines. Nas had visited her village and made a video of her in 2019, highlighting the beauty of her art and of the indigenous people in the video. It was a beautiful video, but the real scum was in the description section. Nas had been endorsing his new educational platform, Nas Academy. Here, students could pay to learn more about someone's culture, including Apo Wang-od's own course hosted by her. Folks, I'm no cynic. I wanted this to be a sweet platform for the 103-year-old lady, but that was far from the truth. 2 years later, after the video dropped, a close descendant of Wang-od dropped one of the many bombs that put the crack in Nas's content empire. Apparently, Wang-od never consented to having her teachings on Nas Academy. In fact, Wang-od never gave out any teachings at all. There was no contract, it was all a scam. Of course, Nas had to fire back immediately, releasing his own statement and video showing evidence of Wang-od caught literally red-handed of fixing her thumbprint on the contract. There was a contract and everyone involved was compensated. While the whole act felt predatory, Wang-od's relatives snapped back, saying that Wang-od never understood the contract to begin with. Imagine explaining roughly translated legal contract terms to a 103-year-old woman from the forest. Not a good look now, is it? Because while yes, they were getting their fair share of the profit, the approach was still way too shady. But credit where credit is due, Nas immediately flew to the Philippines to speak to Whang in person and clear up any misconceptions with her and her relatives. 2 years later, after someone called him out. "You're looking a bit insincere there, Nas," as is the trend when another controversy from the Philippines erupted. The Philippines is a proud nation filled with beautiful sights and even kinder people leading simple lives. But Nas had a totally different interpretation. According to climate and agriculture activist Louise, Nas was very disrespectful during his stay in the Philippines. Louise was an environmental activist supporting Filipino farmers that she knew would get the attention they deserved if only they were caught in Nas's lenses, and they were. Nas decided to do a video on these poor farmers, but things quickly got nasty and Nas's true colors were shown. Allegedly, Nas had kept making horrible comments about Filipino farmers and Filipinos in general, saying how poor everyone was. Ultimately, the video was shot but unreleased because, again, allegedly, it wasn't entertaining enough to make the algorithm drool like any of his other videos. This understandably left a bad taste in everyone's mouth, making everyone see Nas for what he truly was, a culture vulture only doing videos for the clicks and not for the culture. Billionaire glazing. If Nas was so bored of poor people, then of course he'd jump at the opportunity to film obscenely rich people. Now, of course, there are thousands of videos out there on YouTube talking about the lives of billionaires, but Nas was different. He had the platform to speak some truth into the world, to shine a light on things that needed the attention, just as Louise hoped when she reached out. But instead of using his platform for good, he began doing puff pieces on billionaires. Take for example his videos with billionaires Sam Bankman-Fried and Changpeng Zhao. With the way Nas spoke, you'd think he was talking about the second coming of Jesus, labeling these billionaires as heroes in their community. Statements that would later bite them in the ass, considering they would later be charged with fraud, the likes of which could crash an economy. This was insane levels of glazing on Nas's part, especially if you compare it to his videos dealing with the lower tax bracket. But the real kicker here is that Nas was hiding the fact that these were sponsored videos, paid for by the billionaires themselves, a fact that he would later let slip on a crypto podcast, and a fact that he would try his best to cover up. This put his videos in a completely different light, making his audience wonder just how much of his content were undisclosed sponsored videos. Better yet, just how much Nas actually cared about the topics he was covering. Nas would just go wherever the money took him and say whatever was needed for the right price. This, coupled with the fact that he's a culture vulture, only points to one truth: hypocrite. In July 2024, Nas would release a video entitled, "I studied Islam for 1 month and I lost all my hair," a title so jarringly stupid that you'd have to wonder how it even got on YouTube in the first place. The title framed the humble act of shaving your head after a pilgrimage, as the Prophet Muhammad did, as something completely bizarre. Not only that, but most of the information in the video was completely wrong and sensationalized for the sake of clips. It was slowly becoming clearer that Nas was a hypocrite with no passion in his work. The man had turned into a glorified audiobook, reading whatever script he was handed. This was a horrible quality to have, especially when your entire content empire revolved around your passion for world cultures. And slowly, as more and more people began speaking up in comments, Nas faded into obscurity as his channel continues to plummet as you watch this video. Only time will tell if his channel gets revitalized, but one thing's for sure, he should talk about something he's passionate about. Try maybe money?